Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. What is going on, beautiful people? Back here again on a Wednesday evening. Second time today that we are live here on the Steel City Sports Report. First thing this morning, we were live for some exciting but expected, nonetheless, Pittsburgh Pirates news around Konnor Griffin, the most must-see prospect in all of baseball. Some excellent news around him and his future in the black and gold. We'll start the show there in a moment, pretty much recap what went on this morning, some new details around the Konnor Griffin situation, and what the Pittsburgh Pirates have been doing on the field as well over the past few days. They just wrapped up this afternoon a 3-game set with the San Diego Padres. We will talk a little bit about those 3 games. After that, we'll get into a little bit of Pittsburgh Steelers football. The Steelers, they are back at the Rooney Sports Complex on the south side of Pittsburgh, just doing some light conditioning and workouts. No real full team activity quite yet. The Steelers are allowed in the building together a little bit earlier than some other teams because they have a new head coach in Mike McCarthy. First time that I actually found out about that today. But the one thing we're going to talk about the most with the Steelers today, shock, is the NFL draft as of tomorrow, exactly 2 weeks away from the 2026 NFL draft in Pittsburgh. And the Steelers, they looked at the calendar and they realized, oh, you know what? We have like a ton of top 30 visits left to do. I believe heading into yesterday, the Steelers still had somewhere in the range of 14 to 15 top 30 visits yet to be completed. And now they're putting their foot on the gas pedal, getting those top 30 visits done. What college prospects they brought into their facility yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We'll talk about as well. And then we'll wrap up talking a little bit about the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins, not too much big news to talk about them. They'll be back in action tomorrow night against the New Jersey Devils. That's a 7 o'clock puck drop. The past 3 days, the Pens have been off. We have a couple of team award winners to talk about. And could Sergei Murashov's time finally be here for the Pittsburgh Penguins? The goaltender, Russian superstar down in the AHL, got called up. Will he get any game action? We'll talk about that as well. And to end the show, just a tiny bit of extra Pittsburgh sports news here on this Wednesday. But before we get the show off and running officially, if you are new here, welcome to the Steel City Sports Report. On the way in, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you never miss a live stream or video like this ever again. Please also like this live stream right now, share it so we can keep growing the viewership here on the channel. And in the comment section, if you have any thoughts, questions, or opinions on your mind here this evening, please do not hesitate to get those in the comments section. We already have one commenter here for tonight, Concepts. He is a big Steeler fan here on the channel, chimes in with a tiny bit of Steeler or Pirates and Penguins stuff as well. Hopefully Broderick, meaning Broderick Jones, returns 100%. Good news today that he was mobile at practice. Yeah, you got to put practice in air quotations right there. Yeah, we will talk about the Steelers and their return to the facility. Broderick Jones was spotted in a little highlight montage of all the players working out today. He was mobile. That is a good sign about his health, especially in a real make or break year for him. He is entering into the 4th year of his NFL career. The Steelers, they did not pick up his 5th-year option. And now Jones, I mean, this will be his 2nd full year at left tackle coming up here in a moment. Jones, he's got to, really show that he's either the guy at left tackle or risk being replaced at left tackle. Dylan Cook really took over that spot well to end last season, and who knows if the Steelers are going to end up drafting a left tackle in this draft coming up in 2 weeks. So we'll get to some Steelers talk here in a little bit. But to begin the show, like I just said a few moments ago, do want to rewind to this morning. This news has been expected for damn near a week now, but this morning it finally got finalized. Konnor Griffin ladies and gentlemen, the most highly anticipated and high expectations prospect since Mike Trout. He is a Pittsburgh Pirate, and he will be staying with the Pittsburgh Pirates for the next 9 years. You had John Heyman of the New York Post this morning finally be the second MLB insider to say, hey, this deal, Konnor Griffin to the Pirates, is real and it is happening. Heyman says that they are nearing a deal about like 2 minutes, not really, after that post went out from Heyman. The Pirates, they put out there the official 9-year contract extension with Konnor Griffin post. Griffin going to remain in Pittsburgh for damn near a decade. The terms of the contract, they pretty much are exactly what we knew already from the Buster Olney tweet from last week. It is a 9-year, $140 million deal. That is the spine, you should say, of the deal. There are some interesting tidbits to the deal. Comes out to $15.4 million per year for Konnor Griffin. There are escalators in the deal that could take it up to $150 million. So depending on Konnor Griffin's play and playing time, stuff like that, he could end up making $10 extra million. The deal for Griffin comes with a $12 million signing bonus. And the way that is breaking down, Griffin, immediately upon signing on the dotted line today, he gets $5 million put into his bank account. And then over the next 2 years, 2027 and 2028, Griffin will get $3.5 million each of those years. And then the extra $1 million of the $12 million signing bonus. Or no, that does come out to $7 million. My bad. $5 million in signing bonuses this year for Griffin. The next 2 years, $3.5 million. This deal for Griffin, you go across all the 4 major North American sports: Major League Baseball, the NBA, the National Football League, and the NHL. Across all 4 major North American sports, Griffin is the only player to sign a 9-figure contract as a teenager. That is absolutely insane, and it tells you how much expectations and potential that this kid has. Hasn't even turned 20 years old. He'll do that in the next week or so. The first teenager across all 4 major North American sports to sign a 9-figure contract. Congratulations to Konnor Griffin. That was already awesome. That was really, really awesome. Griffin, of course, did have a second press conference. Now that the deal is official, he had his introductory press conference when he got called up to the Bucs last week, and today had another press conference discussing the deal. Hugs for mom and dad in the room. Griffin sitting up there on the podium next to Ben Cherington and Bob Nutting, Pirates owner. Griffin, some comments, typical, young gentleman, even though he speaks well beyond his years. Quotes from Griffin says, quote, "It feels good knowing that I will be a Pirate for a long time. The goal is to win every year, and I believe we can do that." Griffin also continued saying, "I want to win for the city of Pittsburgh. I want to do it for them. The goal is to win a World Series, and I think we've got a great clubhouse to go do that." Very well spoken from Konnor Griffin. And just if you watched like a 2-minute clip of Konnor Griffin speaking with the media, speaking, in the clubhouse, interacting with teammates, you would root for this kid, even though he is mature well beyond his years. You would root for him. If there was one guy you could give a 9-figure contract to, it would be Konnor Griffin 9 times out of 10. He is just that good of a human being. And if he is as good of a ball player as he is a human being, then the sky is the limit for one Konnor Griffin. Back to Bob Nutting and Ben Cherington, who were on the other side of this deal for Griffin. Nutting, of course, this morning said signing Konnor is a meaningful commitment to the team, the city, and our fans. It reflects our belief in Konnor and in this season's club and in the future of our organization. Nutting, actually taking us behind the curtain a little bit, said he was the one pestering day in, day out for Ben Cherington to get a deal done with Griffin as early as before pitchers and catchers even reported for spring training. So Nutting was the pusher of saying, hey, let's get this deal done. Let's lock up this kid for the next near decade. Ben Cherington, Bucs GM, on the deal, said since joining the organization, Konnor has constantly demonstrated the traits we want in a Pirate: a daily commitment to improvement, a team-first mindset, and a strong desire to win. He has met every challenge in front of him, and we are excited to watch him continue that growth alongside his teammates in Pittsburgh. We are thrilled he will be a Pirate for a long time. They're thrilled. Konnor is thrilled. We all are thrilled, to be honest. That does include Konnor's teammates as well. You had multiple Pirates players in that press conference room today when Griffin was up there talking on stage, just like you see there. Brian Reynolds called Konnor Griffin one of us. It felt like Griffin, the way he carries himself and the way he plays, had that mantle locked up, that he was just, one of the guys from day one. And probably the most lofty praise that was given out today about Konnor Griffin came from Paul Skeens. We all know how good Paul Skeens is and how important he is to this Pittsburgh Pirates organization and really to the game of baseball, if we want to be honest here. Skeens said Griffin is going to be the face of the Pirates for a long time. Maybe already a bit of a passing of the torch. Skeens, who really started this whole urgency period to win for the Pittsburgh Pirates, he may be walking to get the Pirates to this point. Now he's going to give the torch, per se, to Griffin to run and help carry this team back to the postseason and hopefully a whole lot of postseason success beyond that. So Griffin, absolutely glorious day for your Pittsburgh Pirates, him signing a 9-year deal. One of the greatest days, to be honest, regardless of what happened on the field today. We'll talk about the Padres series here in a second, but regardless of, other things that happened today, Konnor Griffin putting pen to paper on this deal. Some are saying a future multi-time MVP. Griffin, it is one of the greatest days in recent Pittsburgh Pirates history, and it may not be all particularly close there. Do want to give out a slight but not full apology quite yet. We, since really this channel's birth and even well beyond that, have come on here damn near every day and have crapped on Bob Nutting, Ben Cherington, the Pirates front office. We will give them, tons and tons of crap when, they be the Pirates that we've known for the past half decade now, a little over that. But when they do something right, we will give them a pat on the back. And this was the cherry on top of an excellent offseason for the Pirates, to where now they are set to compete in the current and in the future. This goes for both Nutting and Cherington here. This offseason, can't say they didn't go out and spend money. They brought in Gregory Soto. They brought in Brandon Lau via trade. Marcell Ozuna still has to hit yet, but $10.5 million spent money on him. Ryan O'Hearn on a 2-year, $29 million deal. Those are what are projected to be throughout the course of the season 3 major league bats that produce. And Gregory Soto, more on him when we get to game talk here in a moment. Soto, he has looked like his old closer all-star form that he was with the Detroit Tigers a handful of years ago. But now you add on top of it Konnor Griffin, getting an extension done with him. Very impressive. Well, not impressive. He really should have been doing this a long time ago now, but we'll give Nutting a little bit of credit. He did open up the wallet a little bit, opened up the checkbook a little bit more, and Ben Cherington seemingly pushed most of the right buttons. It's wait and see on Ozuna, but pushed most of the right buttons with those acquisitions. And speaking of Cherington, this, goes more of a credit to him. The Pirates set up well into the future right now. You look at some of the players currently in the major leagues and some players that are either knocking on the doorstep of the major leagues or are not too far off, meaning only a year, two at most. The core of this Pirates team, young players under 25 or 26 years old and under, that are going to be key components of the long-term success of this team. Paul Skeens, 23. You got, just going through pitchers here, Jared Jones, 24. He's going to be back here soon. Bubba Chandler's 23. Hunter Barco, 25 years old. Braxton Ashcraft, who, no sort of joke here, might be the second best pitcher on this Pirates pitching staff right now behind Paul Skeens. He's 26. And then young position players, Konnor Griffin, 19, going to be here for the next almost decade. You got Justinson Garcia, who the Bucs acquired this offseason from the Boston Red Sox. He looks like if Marcell Ozuna continues to struggle or someone gets injured out in the outfield, he's going to be the first call-up. And then Tamar Johnson, too, another former first-round pick of Ben Cherington's. Hasn't sprouted yet, but he is inching closer and closer to the big leagues as well. So just seeing this contract extension for Griffin, it's very exciting and a very good day for Pirates baseball. And we now have legitimate long-term hope for success with this team. And it's hopefully going to start this year with a good season for these Buccos. You know, we're in weird times when Bob Nutting, before today's game, was out there signing autographs again, signing more cones and stuff like that. What a time we live in. Imagine saying that going back a year. You know, last year, this time, Pirates were already down in the dumps. Season was pretty much over. The home opener was a disaster. Bob Nutting getting heckled to hell and back, both in the stadium and all around town with billboards and plain banners and stuff like that. Now, fast forward a calendar year, he's signing baseballs and cones happily for fans, and fans are willingly giving him this stuff. Absolutely insane times. Let's go, Bucs. Very exciting and bright future for the Buccos. Now, on to the games real quickly. Bucs just this afternoon wrapping up a series with the San Diego Padres. Monday, after we were done live streaming the Bucs, they had game one against the San Diego Padres. That probably Monday night's game, the ugliest game of the season thus far for the Buccos. They ended up losing 5-0. Bubba Chandler, another start for him, only went 4 1/3 innings pitched, gave up 3 runs on 5 hits, but again, walks an issue. Had 4 strikeouts, but 4 walks to his ledger. Command a little bit better than what it was in his first start of the season, but still not all that good. Did have a wicked changeup, though, that made a hitter look silly. So it really tells you the potential still that Chandler has as he figures out his command. I also do like, with Bubba Chandler after Monday night's game, the accountability that he showed. His quote post-game right here, pretty bad. It's piss poor. Hits are fine. It's stuff that's going to happen. Not competing in the zone is just pathetic. It's eating at me. I'm going to fix it. Cleaned it up. I have 5 more days before I throw again. It won't happen again. I'm very pissed off. Hate that we lost. I'm just setting our team up for failure right now with the guys having to come in and out of the pen a lot sooner than they should. Stuff's got to get cleaned up. First thing in fixing a problem is addressing that there is a problem and being determined, showing the determination to get better. That is what Bubba Chandler very clearly stated in that post-game press conference. So good stuff. Hopefully here to come for Chandler. He's a fiery competitor. He'll get there eventually. Just some other things that, went wrong in that game for Monday. Another outfield gaffe. This time it was Brian Reynolds. Sort of got crossed up on a ball that just kept on carrying out into the left center gap. Could have been a catch. Instead, it resulted in the Padres getting a run or 2 on the board. You had Konnor Griffin break a couple of bats, not getting all that hard contact. You knew it was a bad night when Griffin, of all people, was frustrated. There was a video of him just spiking a handle of a broken bat down the down the steps of the dugout, and pretty much anything that the Pirates did right on Monday, excuse me. They immediately followed it up by doing a thing or two wrong, double plays, fielding errors, stuff like that. There were some positives. Griffin out in the field was excellent with the glove. Again, he might be in Gold Glove territory as a rookie. I don't think that is any sort of bold expectation. O'Neal Cruz seemingly is getting better defensive-wise in the outfield. And there was a rainbow that everyone, for some reason, was talking about there on Monday night. Now, to last night, Tuesday, after the Bucs' horrid performance Monday, Paul Skeens toted the mound for the Buccos, hoping to turn things around in the series. And my goodness, did he there, Skeens. Actually, a quick note from that game Tuesday, it was the first time Paul Skeens and Konnor Griffin shared the same field, and it was out there on the field for the Bucs. Four of their 6 first-round picks under Ben Cherington were in the lineup last night for the Pirates. You had Nick Gonzalez at second. He was the 7th overall pick in the 2020 draft. Henry Davis, the 1st overall pick in the 2021 draft. Paul Skeens, 2023 1st overall pick, and Konnor Griffin, 9th overall in 2024. So 4 first-round picks were on the field last night for the Buccos. It was a pitching duel between Paul Skeens and Nick Pivetta for the San Diego Padres. There was only 1 hit combined between both teams through the first 4 innings of the ball game. The 5th inning, that is when the Bucs finally broke through on the scoreboard. Konnor Griffin, with 1 on and 1 out, was able to get out a hustle infield single against former Gold Glove third baseman Manny Machado. Right behind Griffin, 2 batters later, O'Neal Cruz, a flare 2 RBI double down the left field line. Griffin flying all the way around from first scores. That made it 2-0 Bucs, giving Paul Skeens some run insurance, a little bit of it. Skeens actually last night really looking like the dominant Paul Skeens of old. Took a no-hitter into the 6th inning. That was then ended by Fernando Tatis Jr. with a single. Skeens, I think, ended up rolling a double play, but gave up a hit to gave up a home run to Xander Bogaerts in the 7th inning. Skeens, his final stat line last night, 6 1/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts on 87 pitches, 53 of which were for strikes. Excellent stuff from Paul Skeens, looking like that first start of the season was what we all expected it to be, a very rare Paul Skeens stinker and fluke. The bullpen came in, did pretty well after Skeens. I think it was might have been Johan Ramirez last night who ended the 7th inning for Skeens. Top of the 8th inning, Gregory Soto went out there, dominated, got out of a bit of a jam on the base pads as well, but made a excellent defensive play. Soto, by the way, he has been unreal for the Bucs to start the season, and sort of that 8th, 9 inning splitting closing time with Dennis Santana role through the first few games of the season here. Soto, 7 1/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 13 strikeouts to only 3 walks. That's good for an .083 opponent batting average and an .068 opponent whip. 1.23 ERA. Excellent stuff from Gregory Soto. Had high expectations for him when the Bucs signed him. Glad to see he's living up to them thus far. And then bottom of the 8th last night for your Buccos. That is when the Bats finally broke through. They gave a little bit of cushion for the lead. It was still 2-1, but there were bases loaded with 1 out for the middle of the order. Nick Gonzalez, a double down the right field line, brought home 2 runs. Jake Mangum going to right field as a right-handed hitter, made it 5-1 with an RBI single. Konnor Griffin, just your everyday run-of-the-mill 113.2 mile-an-hour RBI single for Konnor Griffin. Just absolutely ripped it back up the middle. That scored 2 more runs, make it 7-1. Griffin last night was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. I think he's starting to adapt a little bit better to Major League pitching after about a week up in the bigs. It was the first time in the career of Adrian Morhone, the reliever who was in for the Padres there, that 5 runs were scored on him in an inning. And the Bucs, they just kept on hammering him over and over again. 7-1 was the final score thanks to that 5-run 8th inning. The Pirates last night, actually, crazy stat, they weren't just, getting a bunch of hits. They were playing some pretty complimentary baseball, getting hits the opposite way. They had 10 hits to the opposite field in last night's ball game. That is the most opposite field hits in a ball game for the Pirates. You got to go all the way back to May 27th, 2008, the last time the Bucs had that many hits to the opposite side of the field. So good stuff from the Bucs. Shows you when these bats get clicking, what they are capable of, the run production. And then today, that all came crashing down a little bit. But hey, with as good as a day it was, Konnor Griffin signing and all that, we're not going to focus too much on the game for today. Mitch Keller was on the bump, a pretty B squad lineup from Donnie Kelly. Griffin, you thought he would be in the starting lineup coming off of signing that extension and that he'd be juiced up to be out there on the field playing, but he was not. It was an off day for Griffin, another off day for Marcell Ozuna, and the Bucs right now, or today, I should say, they sent out a pretty meager lineup in a deciding game of a series. Mitch Keller had an excellent game. At least he did his fair share. Went 6 innings. Only gave up 3 hits, no runs, struck out 4, walked 1. Was taken out, though, after 75 pitches. I know it's early in the season here, and you want to, monitor the pitch count for your starters, but 75 pitches after Skeens just went 87 the night before seemed like a little bit early for Donnie Kelly to pull Mitch Keller today, and that decision ended up costing the Pirates dearly, because as soon as Keller was removed from the ball game, in comes Justin Lawrence, and it was batting practice for the San Diego Padres. They ended up putting up a 4 spot on Lawrence in the 7th inning. There was an error, a double, another double, ground out, and then a 2-run home run for Jake Cronenworth in the first 5 batters after Mitch Keller's departure. So that was a mega error on Donnie Kelly. Still, you got to remember he's a rookie manager here, first full year as manager, I would say. 7th inning, the bottom of the 7th, I should say, the Pirates did get 2 runs back. You had an RBI single from Joey Bart, and Konnor Griffin had a pinch hit sacrifice fly. But then the Bucs bullpen hammered again. Jose Urquidy came in for the 8th and 9th innings. The 9th inning, batting practice again for the Padres. They ended up putting 4 more runs on the board to make it 8-2. That ended up being the final score. But hey, like I said, no loss today was going to take down our vibes. Konnor Griffin is a Pirate for the next 9 years. That was the big win for today. I'll exchange a loss on the field today for knowing Griffin will be with the Bucs organization for nearly the next decade. And now the Bucs believe they are, what's their record now? I think they're 9-6, something like that. Let me go here real quick. What's the Pirates record here? They are losers of 2 of 3 to the Padres. And now looking here at their schedule, they are off to Chicago, by the way. The Bucs are. They got a 3-game set in Wrigley coming up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It'll be Majinski, Ashcraft, and Chandler those 3 days for the Bucs, going up against Imananga, Edward Cabrera, and former Bucco Jamison Tyon. It's always good to see JMO here and there. So looking ahead here to the Bucs and seeing what they can do now that the offseason list is officially completed. All of those things crossed off. Griffin's extension was the last thing to get done. Now it's all about baseball from here forward for the Bucs. The record 7-5, so I was overshooting a little bit there. 7-5 right now. The Reds, they are atop the NL Central at 8-3. They're gonna, their fans, I bet, try to, say some stuff like, "Oh, how's the weather down there, Pirates?" Something like that. We beat you 2 out of 3 games. I don't want to hear it there. The Milwaukee Brewers 8-4 to begin the season, and then right now below the Pirates at 6-5. The Cardinals are in fourth place. The Chicago Cubs, they are actually bottom of the division currently, so they're going to be a very motivated team come Friday at 5-6 right now. So that's it for most Pirate talk here today. Konnor Griffin and the Bucs make official a 9-year deal. The Bucs, they do drop 2-3 to the San Diego Padres, but vibes are high for this team in the present and heading into the future. It's 5 of you in here right now so far on this Wednesday evening. Going to switch gears to a topic that everybody wants, to talk about here on the channel now and for the next 2 to 3 weeks. The NFL draft and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Got a little bit of a chatter about that coming up here in a moment. Back to the comment section. SESR Dad schemes next. I did see Andrew Filipponi, 93.7 The Fan, radio host today, put out there, offer Skeens right now a 4-year, $140 million deal. That might buy you an extra year of Paul Skeens in the current MLB economic system. But Skeens next, I mean, they paid Konnor Griffin, so now that they're actually spending the money, I'm not going to say anything is impossible. And we'll have to wait and see, again, what happens here, if we even have baseball next year, and if the MLB economic system will favor the Pirates and their chances to Skeens at all, really, because it really doesn't right now, to be honest here. Concepts in here as well. What's going on, Concepts? Hope everybody is doing well here on this Wednesday evening. Like I said, going to keep things moving along right here. Hopefully going to be a tiny bit shorter live stream here tonight. Back into football now, ladies and gentlemen. The Steelers. We got some Steelers news to talk about today. The black and gold back at the Rooney Sports Complex, UPMC Rooney Sports Complex on the south side of Pittsburgh. Players slowly trickling in yesterday to begin this off-season workout program. They are allowed back in to the building along with a few other teams a little bit early because they have a new coaching staff and head coach with Mike McCarthy, Jaquan Brisker, Joey Porter Jr. showing up together, TJ Watt, another season back in the Berg, showing up. Cam Hayward, fresh off of a contract extension, showed up. Jalen Ramsey looked like a bit of a RBF face as he walked in, but he's focused to have a good year. And Steelers, black and gold. I assume everybody except Mr. You-Know-Who that doesn't want to make a decision about his future was back in Pittsburgh yesterday, including Broderick Jones. I believe Concepts, you brought him up earlier. Jones feeling a little bit better, or at least giving us a little bit more optimism with his injury. He was working out, participating at least in the conditioning portion of their training session yesterday. But I mean, there's only so much we could talk about with the Steelers and them doing in weight room workouts and things like that. Our real focus here for the Steelers, and it'll be this way for at least the next 2.5 weeks, maybe even a little bit more, because, we got to analyze their picks afterwards. The NFL draft is our first priority when it comes to Steeler football right now. The draft, 1 week or 2 weeks from tomorrow away, the draft stage outside of Acrisure Stadium, bit by bit every day, looking like it's coming into shape. The seating upgrades to the upper bowl behind the Steelers bench, that looks like it's nearing completion. And today, as the Steelers maybe look down the river and they see the stage off in the distance being built, they thought to themselves today, oh crap, we got like nearly half of our pre-draft top 30 visits left remaining. We got to step on the gas here and get some guys in here to learn a little bit about them in a short period of time. The Steelers have now done that. Count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pre-draft visits over the last 24 hours for your Pittsburgh Steelers, with 2 more coming up probably tomorrow. Yesterday, 3 in the building for the Steelers. You had inside linebacker Jaden Duggar from Louisiana. He counted as a local visit, went to Penn Hills for high school. Super athletic linebacker. Not sure how his production was down there in Louisiana with the Raging Cajuns, but some decent size to Duggar. Looks like he is an athlete that could be an absolute dog for you on special teams. The second pre-draft visit yesterday for the Steelers, I like this one as a potential day 2 pick. Darrell Jackson Jr., defensive tackle from Florida State. He is a massive human being to put right in the middle of your defensive line. Nearly 6'6", 315 pounds, though that was the weight he checked in at the combine. I assume his playing weight is better than that. An 86-inch wingspan for Darrell Jackson. 7'2" wingspan. That is like that is insanely wide. This dude could bear hug a semi truck if he wanted to with that wingspan. 35-inch arms, 11-inch hands. Son of a former NFL player, too. So Darrell Jackson Jr., he is going to be a guy that gets some serious look for the Steelers. And then the headliner from yesterday for the Steelers. Anybody interested in a Denzel Boston? Yes, that Denzel Boston out of Washington, one of the top. I have him consensus in my top 7 wide receivers in this draft class. I think you've got the top 3 in this draft class: Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon, Jordan Tyson. But then after that, you got, I would say, 3 to 4 players that are in that second tier that are, a couple tinkers away from being, in that top tier with your Lemons and Tates of the world. Boston, he's right now in that second tier. 22 years old, 6'4", 212 pounds. He did not run a 40 at the combine, so, overall speed is a bit of a question. But this is a guy that the Steelers met with at the combine, and this is a guy that did produce at Washington. Had 62 receptions last year, 881 yards, and 11 touchdowns. All of those led the team. And in his career, he is a 1,700-yard receiver. Excellent stuff from Denzel Boston when you turn on the tape. Seems like he's going to be a true X wide receiver. Put him outside the numbers. Let him go down the field and make big catches with his massive catch radius. He'll be a good red zone target. He tracks the ball well, accelerates well, got big, strong hands that are like vice grips on the ball. Yak, I'm sure he's going to knock over a couple of undersized defensive backs. There are some things to improve to his game. Speed is good, not to be confused with great. Move set off of his release is a little slim right now. He'll lose steam as the routes go on, and production against bigger schools like Ohio State and Oregon dipped. But when this guy here, Denzel Boston, he's getting comps to Puka Nacua as a big guy who maybe you can put outside, maybe you can put in the slot, sort of a jack of all trades, and he's a big body doing it. I'm going to like that that possible addition for the Steelers. At 21, we'll have to wait and see when draft night rolls around if I'm comfortable taking him at 21, but the possibility of getting a guy like that in your building, he's going to have guys that look like him in terms of big body receivers, Metcalf, Pittman to learn under. Denzel Boston here in the Steelers might be a better fit than what we initially give it credit right now. Those were yesterday's visits. Today's visits for the Steelers, 3 more. These guys here, not any first-round picks here, but maybe a couple of day 2 targets, potentially. The headliner of today's group, wide receiver from UConn, Skylar Bell. I've not done too much digging in on Skylar Bell yet, but from the little I know, Bell easily a top 15 wide receiver overall in this draft class, was a Bolitnikov Award finalist in 2025. I believe the Bolitnikov Award for the nation's top wide receiver, that went to Mekhi Lemon. This guy, Skylar Bell, a finalist for that award, had 101 receptions, 1,278 yards, and 13 touchdowns at UConn, really making Joe Fanano there, their quarterback, look pretty damn well. Also runs a 4.4, so seems like a well put together player. Size might be his only question. Could be a nice compliment to DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman here in Pittsburgh. The last 2 guys that visited the Steelers today, linebacker from BYU, Jack Kelly. Kelly is a linebacker rising up the rankings, and he could be one of those sneaky day 3 picks that turns out to be a not a star, but a solid starter someday for an NFL team. 106 total tackles last year with 15 sacks, 23 and a half TFLs. That was his BYU career right there over 2 seasons. A projected day 3 pick, but man, you want to talk about a dude, start him out on special teams and then watch him grow into a bigger role. I think Kelly could be that guy. And then the last guy, safety from Miami, Jacoby Thomas. Now, Thomas, we actually, back on Monday, last time we were live like this, we did a mock draft. And I'd be shocked if Thomas ended up being available that late into the draft. But we took Jacoby Thomas in the 7th round. I think he's a guy that's got decent ball skills, is a big body, can be a special teams menace as he, sits and waits behind your Jalen Ramsey, Deshaun Elliott, Jaquan Briskers of the world. And now the Steelers showing real interest in him as well. They were at his pro day. I think they met with him at the combine, and now bringing him in for a top 30 visit. If all of those things I remember correctly are true, that's a wholly trendy right there of pre-draft looks. So keep an eye on Jacoby Thomas with the Steelers. Those 6 in the last 24 hours. The next 24 hours for the Steelers, you can expect at least 2 more pre-draft visits for the Steelers, and one could be a first-round pick for the Steelers. The Steelers, I think, have had maybe 3 out of their top 30 visits, potential first-round picks. You had, I believe, Denzel Boston in the building, Jacob Rodriguez, another guy. I'm trying to think, who was the there was another receiver that could be on the Steelers short list for first-round pick. Not seeing him here. Maybe I'm thinking of Jeremy Bernard. Not quite sure. Looking here. I'm scanning the list right now that I have of top 30 visits. Not sure who else I pegged as a potential first-round target for the Steelers, but this guy definitely will be a first-round pick, or at the very least a early day 2 pick. Safety, Emmanuel McNeil Warren from Toledo. Now, if these were your dad's Steelers and grandfather's Steelers here, you know that the Steelers, they have some sort of a fascination of going to the MAC for some good players. McNeil Warren, he is definitely one of those guys, the number 2 safety in this year's class. It's between him and Dylan Thieneman from Oregon. The consensus number one safety in the class is Caleb Downs, but McNeil Warren, he is up there. Great ball skills, can pick the ball off as good as anybody in this class. 212 tackles, 8 forced fumbles, 5 picks, 13 pass defenses in his 4 seasons at Toledo. Did, of course, in the MAC play some lesser competition, but I don't think it would really matter with a guy like this. He is going to be good. And then the last guy here today for the Steelers that could be in the building tomorrow. We've talked about this dude a little bit already. Travis Burke, massive offensive tackle from Memphis, 6'9", well over 310 pounds. Burke going to be in the building for the Steelers either tomorrow or Friday from current reports. And now that brings the pre-draft visits for the Steelers up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Those are 23 total visits. But one of these ones here, 1, 2, I believe Khalil Dinkins makes 3. So that brings you up to 20 right now. Top 30 visits with 3 local visits mixed in there, and maybe 2 more visits coming tomorrow. So we'll keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on the draft and the developments over the next few weeks for your Pittsburgh Steelers, because the draft inching closer and closer. Everybody getting antsy. Mock drafts are flying left and right all around the internet right now, and we'll be excited when come 2 weeks from now we are here breaking down live what goes on in the NFL draft. Actually, there was one more thing that I wanted to do here since we're on draft talk. Did not yet check in on what the division rivals of the Steelers are doing and where they could be looking in the draft. The Browns today, they scheduled visits with 2 potential first-round picks. They are going to meet with tight end Kenyon Sadiq from the Oregon Ducks, number 1 tight end by far in this draft class, as well as Casey Concepcion, Texas A&M wide receiver, who is maybe one of my draft darlings for the Steelers at 21. Did want to look here. The Browns top 30 visits. They have the 6th overall pick, and I also think they have the 24th overall pick. So I'm expecting a ton of high profile prospects here. Well, this ain't really a list. I'm looking for a list, not a whole paragraph here. NFL draft prospect visit tracker. We'll go with this Walter Football website right now. Let's go all the way down here. The Browns, they have, just going to go off of some of the big guys here they've had in for visits. Chris Bell from Louisville, wide receiver. Markel Bell, the big offensive tackle from Miami. Steelers had him in the building as well. Jeremy Bernard, he's got a scheduled visit with the Steelers coming up here soon. Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion, Omar Cooper, Mekhi Lemon, Ty Simpson, Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson. So the Browns, looks like they are going to really go wide receiver at pick 6 or pick 24. They're going to take a wide receiver at some point in the first round. You don't have that many first round eligible wide receivers in your building and not take one. The Cincinnati Bengals, also they're a team to take a look at. I just saw it today. They are going to be bringing in soon, or they had in yesterday, a decent guard from Oklahoma, Fabechi Nwaiwu. Probably butchered his name. The Bengals had him in their building. Cincinnati so far, looking at first round guys they could take a look at. They had Jeremiah Lovin, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, who we just talked about, and Sonny Styles, linebacker from Ohio State. The Bengals picked 10th Those are the 3 bona fide first-round players on their list that I see for them. And then the Ravens, the good old Baltimore Ravens that somehow have their first-round pick back at pick 14. The Ravens, where are the Ravens at here on this list? The Ravens, they have had, not all that many top 30 visits. Casey Concepcion, stay away from him. I want him. That's pretty much the only guy that I'm seeing on their list that is a first-round caliber player. AJ Halsey, a safety from LSU, is on this list too, but he's a early day 2 pick. We'll monitor these more closely here, especially the Steelers division rivals and who the Steelers bring in compared to the other teams in the division as we narrow in on the draft roughly 2 weeks from now. 6 of you still in here. Any thoughts, questions, opinions on anything Steelers, Penguins, or Pirates related? Please get those in the comment section. Concept's in here a moment ago. He's a draft talk guy like myself. Skylar Bell, an interesting prospect. I think we will see a bunch more visits by top prospects this week. Fa'atanu and Harmon both visited late the week before the draft. Yeah, that is true. Those guys got brought in later in the cycle. But again here, concepts, you do want to wonder if McCarthy and Omar Konnor are doing anything different. Those guys, they were Tomlin guys, Mike Tomlin guys. And Tomlin, he was, I think, still the end-all, be-all decision maker when it came to the draft. Maybe he listened a little bit more to Omar Khan and Andy Weidel, those guys later on in his tenure here. But now you got pretty much Omar Khan calling the shots, Andy Weidel, the scouting department, and Mike McCarthy. He'll insert his 2 cents, seeing how it's his first draft after taking a year off of football. It'll be interesting to see how the Steelers, when the draft, shakes out the way it does, whether, the guys they brought in for top 30 visits, if they ended up taking one of those guys, or if they, took a guy they barely talked to during this pre-draft process because they wanted to, put the illusion out there. They had no intentions of taking him. It'll be interesting to see. Right now, we're all playing mind games in our head of trying to think what the Steelers are thinking here. And come about 2 weeks and 4 days from now, we'll know if, for sure what the Steelers' plans were all along. One more segment here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap the show up with a tiny bit of extra Pittsburgh sports news. Want to move things over to hockey just for a few minutes. It's going to be really, really quick here. I promise. The Pittsburgh Penguins, not too much news on them. They just had 3 straight days, including today, off from hockey. A rare late season break in the schedule for the Pens. They resume action tomorrow night against the New Jersey Devils, and the Pens don't think maybe tonight they can clinch a playoff spot, but if they win tomorrow night, they definitely will clinch a playoff berth. In the meantime, with the last few off days, the Pens announced their 2025-2026 team award winners, and some of these pretty not all that shocking. Team MVP could have gone a couple of ways. It could have been Sidney Crosby, could have been Anthony Mantha, because he's been on a tear this year. Rickard Rakell has made a strong campaign late here this season. But I think at the end of the day, we all can agree that this guy has been a huge difference maker for the Pens since night one, and he has not wavered whatsoever. Erik Karlsson is your team's MVP for the Penguins for the 2025-26 season. His 3rd season with the Pens has set new highs in his Penguins tenure. 14 goals, 50 assists, 64 points for EK65. He has been excellent. Sidney Crosby did again get hardware. He won the Players Player Award for team leadership voted on by teammates. Crosby exemplifying leadership both on and off the ice. It's the 8th time in his career that Crosby won the Players' Player Award. I think that should just be nicknamed when he retires someday to the Sidney Crosby Award, because you're talking about, in the history of sports, Crosby probably in the top 10, maybe even the top 5 for leaders across the entirety of sports history. Noel Acciari, Penn's fourth liner, he was nicknamed the unsung hero for the season. Acciari, I mean, unsung hero, very fitting for him. Dude has produced better than anything I expected from him this season, and he has been a absolute warrior out there on the ice. I think he does not get given enough credit as to how good this Penguins fourth line has been this season. Ben Kindle, shocker, your rookie of the year for the Penguins. I mean, who else would have been his competition? Maybe Harrison Brunick in his 9-game sample size. Sergei Murashov, who was up here for a cup of coffee. More on him here in a moment. Kindle, 17 goals, 17 assists for 34 points as an 18-year-old who was not the first overall pick. Let's keep that in mind here when it comes to Ben Kindle. Usually the first, maybe even some years the second and third overall picks, they, do get a shot in the NHL immediately, and they are given multiple opportunities. Guys who are drafted in Ben Kindle's spot at 11th overall, they, are harshly graded. They get sent back to the minors more times than not, and it's a year or two, more close to a year, but a year or two since before you see them in the NHL. And Kindle coming in day one, produced in the preseason, produced in the regular season, has been excellent and really the biggest bright spot of the Pens' future on display this season. And the last two awards here for the Pens team awards 2025-26. Blake Lizotte, Ryan Shea, both recipients of the Defensive Player of the Year award. Ryan Shea has really turned into a excellent defensive defenseman for the Pens. I thought it would have been a battle between him and Parker Wotherspoon for this award, but Shea doesn't have a Norris Trophy winning defenseman playing next to him, so I think that might have given him the edge there. And Blake Lizotte, you want any more of a any more of a campaign, a proposal for him to be Defensive Player of the Year? Been outstanding as a fourth line center, winning faceoffs, excellent penalty killer. Since he's been out with injury, hopefully he's coming back here soon. The penalty kill for the Pens fallen to crap, to say the least. So Lizotte, Shea, very deserving of that award. And Brian Rust gets the all-around good guy award, the Baz Bastian Memorial Trophy, which is the good guy award for the media. Rusty, very favorable in the Pens locker room for post-practice, pre-game, post-game interviews, stuff like that. The last guy I do want to mention here, it's not a dude winning an award, it's him getting nominated for one. Anthony Mantha is the Penguins nominee for the NHL's Masterton Memorial Trophy this year. The trophy given to a player who best emulates perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to the game of hockey. Chris Letang, a few years ago, won the Masterton Award. Now back onto the ice itself, team awards there for the Pens done. Right now, the biggest question for the Pens is who is going to be their goalie heading into playoffs. Most people would probably say Stuart Skinner, but Skinner, his future in the net for the Pens is a tiny bit in question. It's not, in jeopardy, but it's a tiny bit in question. Skinner took a puck to the face, more specifically right beside his left eye, going back to Saturday. Skinner ended up missing out playing in Sunday's game, and it looked absolutely horrendous. A significant black eye, bad swelling, a cut right beside his eye. Skinner actually said that if he looked slightly more to the left, it would have hit him square in the eye, but did say that it looks and feels better than it did the past 2 days. Was out there practicing today, was Skinner, but still, got to wonder if he is going to get the nod with, even a 80% well eye in net against the Devils on Thursday. Could that mean we get a look at Sergei Murashov, the young Russian goaltending phenom who is just killing it right now in the AHL for the Baby Pens? He did get recalled from the Pens yesterday officially. He was going to get recalled for Sunday's game against the Panthers, but wouldn't have been able to make it to the game in time. Taylor Gauthier, who served as Arturs Shilov's backup, was sent back down to the minors. Murashov now up for the Pens. That suggests that Skinner could at least be questionable for the game on Thursday, tomorrow night against the Devils. Dan Muse, Penguins coach, did call the Murashov recall a precautionary measure, but per Dan Muse, all three goaltenders, Sergei Murashov, Arturs Shilovs, and Stuart Skinner, will travel with the team to New Jersey for tomorrow's game. So keep an eye. Maybe Murashov late in the season here, you still got questions as to who your number one goaltender is going to be in playoffs. What's the saying in playoffs? If you have two goaltenders, you have none. Skinner having an excellent last couple of weeks. He's right now in the lead. Arturs Shilovs has fallen significantly behind with some of his bad games. Murashov, as a kid who is setting records down in the minors for the Baby Penguins, could he maybe just get one chance against the Devils on Thursday? Say, hey, I'm in consideration for this thing being the goalie in playoffs. Playoffs, it comes down to who has the hot goalie. Sometimes in Murashov, he's got the talent and the potential to be that guy for the Pens. So we'll keep an eye on that. Murashov did get some action in Penguins practice today. Faced Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Ricard Raquel, Brian Rust, Ricard Raquel again, and Chris Letang in a shootout at the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex. Only one guy, Letang, the last shooter, scored on Murashov, making stops against all the other guys. Wouldn't it be nice to get a goaltender that makes a couple big saves like a breakaway? I would not mind that at all. Let me know in the comment section, who would you like to see go for the Pens in round one of the playoffs? More on the playoffs coming up here in a moment in the extra Pittsburgh sports news for today. With that said, all the main segments of the day now done and out of the way. Extra Pittsburgh sports news coming up here in a moment, as we are a little over an hour into the live stream here tonight. Going to wrap things up soon. Back to the comment section. Concepts here. JPJ, Joey Porter Jr. deserves to get paid. He has been insanely underrated by some and was blatantly snubbed from an All-Pro last season. Happy he's a Steeler. Blatantly snubbed from being an All-Pro or a Pro Bowler at least. That is 100% true. Underrated by some. That is also true. Deserves to get paid. Also, yes. I will stress, though, with Joey Porter Jr., let's be patient with that here. We still got a draft to go through here. We still got an Aaron Rodgers to sign, as annoying as that is to say. You don't know how the draft is going to shake out, if you're going to need to sign some other guys in free agency. I think extensions are usually the last bit of business that the Steelers do. That might be a, first day of Latrobe, let's get Joey in this, up to Omar's room and have him sign with the Steelers type thing. So Joey, he will get paid. It's coming. It just might be as soon as what some people out there may like. Concepts here again, bringing up a Steeler legend, Chase Claypool. He was amazing. Offensive Rookie of the Year almost. Gave 2 quality seasons, then brought JPJ to the Bird. Can't beat that. Chase Claypool, Steeler legend, for giving us those 2 quality seasons in the final years of Big Ben, and then ends up bringing Joey Porter Jr. In a trade. His trade to the Bears brings Porter to the Berg. Can't help but smile at that. Also, if you want to, I guess, make another comparison here, Chase Claypool did draft his replacement. We remember him announcing the George Pickens pick. Pickens did not pan out here, gave us a few good seasons along with his headaches on the sideline, but Pickens, believe that third-round pick the Steelers acquired in this year's draft from the Cowboys for Pickens, that could be another, good player. Could it be a wide receiver? Maybe third round, a Zachariah Branch or someone, a Skylar Bell could be sitting there. Maybe it's a interior D lineman like a Darrell Jackson Jr., a safety that's got some good ball skills, a quarterback in the third round. Drew Allard, Taylon Green territory maybe there. So maybe the Chase Claypool tree of giving could be growing more and more, even though that branch is kind of like a ghost branch. Claypool had nothing to do with actually acquiring Pickens in the draft or making the trade. Want to go back here for a moment to the Twitter timeline, see if there's any new news since we have gone live here tonight. This is very interesting here. We need to keep this in mind right here, ladies and gentlemen. Jordan Schultz, you got your Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelisseros of the world as the top of the top MLB or NFL insiders in that tier, slightly below those guys, but still very, very reliable. Jordan Schultz, formerly of Fox Sports, now of his own thing, I believe, with the Schultz Report. Jordan Schultz, NFL insider. The expectation among many NFL teams is that the 2026 draft will be one of the more trade-heavy drafts in recent memory, according to multiple league sources. Specifically, on the defensive side of the ball, edge rusher, corner, and linebacker are strong and deep, while wide receiver is typically considered to be the most talented offensive position. Several executives I've spoken with believe we're likely to see a flurry of activity in the first half of round one. Additionally, because this specific draft lacks depth in the later rounds, many teams plan to pursue extra day 2 and early day 3 picks. Wow. Per league sources from Jordan Schultz right there. Steelers, 12 draft picks. Remember that. 3 third-rounders. Remember that. Draft night, first night of the draft. Be ready for a trade-up at any moment. This is just me, not, reading anything offline or it's not like I have any sources or anything. I pretty much for this entire lead up to the draft, the Ravens are sitting there at pick 14. You're the Steelers, if you love, if for some strange reason this guy were to fall this far, if you love a Cardell Tate, if you love a Makai Lemon and Oli Venga Ioane, go up, jump the Ravens. They're probably going to take one of those guys. Go get your guy. Hell yeah. That just got me even more pumped up at the draft for draft night. It is going to be wild here come 2 Thursdays from now for the first round of the draft. Be sure to come on back, ladies and gentlemen, for that. Look in here is if there's any other Pittsburgh sports news going on right now that we have yet to talk about. This is interesting. Matt Williamson, a former NFL scout, now works for Steelers Nation Radio. He just did his first mock draft, I believe, of this pre-draft cycle, and I would not be upset with this whatsoever. Pick 21, he has the Steelers taking Oliva Venga Ioane. Love that. Get the big guard from Penn State in here. We took him in our mock draft back on Monday. Then rounds 2 and 3, the first pick in the third round and the only pick in the second round. He has the Steelers going back-to-back wide receiver, back-to-back Bells, too. Chris Bell out of Louisville at pick 53, and then Skylar Bell, who the Steelers had in for a visit today, at pick 76. So might need to get some C's and S's on jerseys before the bell. 2 bells to the Steelers. And then his rest of his picks, he only did 4 rounds. Davison Igbinosun, we drafted him last night. Chris McClellan, defensive lineman from Missouri. Bud Clark, safety from TCU. And then Emmett Johnson, a running back in the 4th round from Nebraska. That is going to be some serious competition for Caleb Williams right there. I do like Emmett Johnson. I think right now he's in the top 5 of running backs in this draft class for me. This right here from a Steelers insider, Ray Fittipaldo, who covers the black and gold for 93.7 The Fan. He believes this will be Nick Herbig's final year in Pittsburgh. He said he could see them drafting an edge rusher at some point in this draft, the middle rounds or later rounds, just because Nick Herbig could be getting a bag next offseason. So the Steelers maybe already will plan for life after Nick Herbig. We'll keep an eye on that. Would love to keep Nick Herbig, unfortunately, to give Nick Herbig the money it takes to keep him. You might need to part ways with a TJ Watt or a Alex Highsmith or some other high-paid defensive player, because somebody out there is going to truly realize the talent of Nick Herbig and throw a bag his way. Is there any other things going on here? Any other news to talk about right now? Not seeing anything too massive or anything that we haven't talked about already. But that, let's do it. Get finished up here with the sports news talk here tonight. Back into hockey here just for one moment. We have a few extra Penguins things to talk about here today. Mentioned the Pens in playoffs. The Pens right now still sitting at a 99.9% chance to make the postseason. And the Pens right now, if the playoffs were to end today, they would still, and this is looking more and more like the matchup that is guaranteed to happen, it would be a Keystone State rivalry matchup in the first round. The Philadelphia Flyers last night beat the brakes off of the New Jersey Devils. They are now up to above 60% odds, chance, I should say, to make the playoffs and secure the 3 seed in the Metropolitan Division. They would travel to Pittsburgh in round 1. Also, looking at some of the other percentage chances of making the playoffs, you have the Ottawa Senators. It looks like they are above 90% to lock up that final wild card spot behind the Boston Bruins. The Columbus Blue Jackets, they are the closest team to catching the Flyers for the 3rd spot in the Metro Division. They have a 31% chance to make the playoffs. The Islanders and the Detroit Red Wings. Who knew that the Pens beating those 2 teams early last week would be the beginning of the downfall of their seasons. The Isles, 13% chance. The Wings, 4% chance to make the playoffs. So get ready, everybody. Looks like Pens, Flyers, first round with the NFL draft and the Pittsburgh Pirates playing some exciting baseball. It's going to be a Pittsburgh sports overload here over the next few weeks. Wrapping up some extra Penguins talk here today. The Pens AHL team in Wilkes-Barre, they did make a few roster moves today. They brought over from Russia Pens forward Mikhail Ilyin, his season in the KHL over, so now he is back stateside and is going to suit up for the baby Pens. The Penguins also signing to amateur tryout contracts 2 draft picks from last year, Ryan Miller, forward, and Quinn Beauchene, defenseman. Both of those guys middle round draft picks last year by Kyle Dubas. And then the last thing here, Penn's going to the NCAA world. They made a signing of a college player, just not the one quite yet that I want. Will Horkoff in Michigan, they are still playing college hockey. I believe they have a game tomorrow night. But they did go with a Michigan State signing. Tiernan Shouty, a forward from the Spartans. He signed an AHL contract with the Pens that will begin next year. Hopefully next, that means Will Horkoff is going to sign with the Pens and get his ass to Pittsburgh for the postseason run. I would hope so. Every other team around the Pens is doing so. Last thing here for the Penguins has nothing to do with the Penguins. Instead, it is one of the Penguins' greatest rivals. Alexander Ovechkin today had a sit-down interview with John Walton, play-by-play broadcaster for the Caps, and Ovechkin was asked a question about his playing future. He said that he will be taking time this offseason to reflect and consult with his family before determining his future this summer. Ovechkin, I think, is 41, approaching 42 years old. He's the Aaron Rodgers, pretty much, of the NHL right now, and could be hanging him up here. It'll be very shocking, and it'll hit like a sack of bricks when Ovechkin retires. The same thing for Crosby, Malkin, and Letang. I know we're not far off from those guys as well, even though they look still fairly spry in their older ages. But yeah, keep an eye on Ovechkin. Could be hanging him up as the NHL's all-time leading goal scorer. Moving over to baseball, just some light Pittsburgh Pirates news. They play the Chicago Cubs this weekend, begin a 3-game set in Wrigleyville. Like I said, they will not be facing one of the better young pitchers for the Cubs this series or the rest of the year. Cade Horton, who profiles as the Chicago Cubs version of Bubba Chandler, something like that. Their young, maybe future is bright pitcher on the staff. He underwent season-ending elbow surgery yesterday. So that is a nice little blow to the Cubs rotation. The Pirates also still have yet to have a full reveal of their City Connect uniforms they'll be debuting this year. But the hats are now out for the City Connect uniform. They have an all-black hat. Also, they have a yellow hat with the new City Connect logo with a black brim. It's sort of like this hat right here, but it's got a sort of darker, almost like mustard color to it for the yellow, and it's got the the pirate head logo on it. So keep an eye on that, and keep an eye on cones too, traffic cones, because this hoist the cone fever. Still, we're a part of it here. We got one in the room here with us. The hoist the cone fever for the Pirates. It is still strong among the fan base, and as a matter of fact, it's growing because KDKA and local construction companies, they are now reporting that cones all over Pittsburgh are getting stolen, and that fines are going to be handed out for stealing these cones and taking them to Pirate games. That's just absolutely hilarious there. Last things here on the Steelers. Not really any of the Steelers news here, just extra football news in general. The star power at the draft in Pittsburgh in terms of college prospects physically being there in the Burgh took a big hit. Fernando Mendoza, the number 1 overall pick for the Raiders, projected number 1 overall pick, hasn't been drafted yet. He is not going to be attending the NFL draft in person. He is going to stay home in Miami with his family. Very understandable and respectable for his mother being wheelchair bound, and really seems like a tight-knit family guy. One of those high character guys you can't help but not root for. You can't help but root for. Also, Adam Schefter, NFL insider. This will be after the draft here. He said that the NFL schedule release could be coming sometime on the week of May 12th or the 14th, that Tuesday through Wednesday period right there. could be on the lookout for the schedule release then after the draft. And the last thing here, football related, Daniel Falele, former right guard of the Ravens. We all remember Derek Harmon eating him alive. Same thing with Y.A. Black in Steelers-Ravens games this past year. He, like some other Ravens, following his old head coach John Harbaugh to New York, he signs with the Giants and put it on the ticker. There's another Baltimore Ravens player that has now moved on to other opportunities. Actually, my apologies. There was one more Pirate extra news story today I forgot about. The ratings came back from Sportsnet Pittsburgh for the home opener. The MLB debut for Konnor Griffin in home opener game back on Friday set the highest streaming audience in Sportsnet Pittsburgh history on their app. It was the largest streaming audience in S&P 360 history. The Griffin debut generated a 6.15 HH rating, whatever that means. It is higher than the Paul Skeens debut. So all eyes on the Bucs. Let's keep it going here. That is going to, I think, wrap things up for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, concepts here. Smart to wait till then if you have the extra cap space. Going back to Joey Porter Jr. contract extension talks. Yeah, I'm sure Joey's going to get paid. He knows he's going to get paid. He'll have some sort of handshake agreement with Omar Khan, but got to make sure all your I's are dotted and T's are crossed before you give him his big boy contract. Some things are more important. Concepts here again, packaging a late third, a fourth, and a sixth for another second rounder because the draft is like Madden. LOL. Yeah, I mean, I have been, picking at 21 in a bunch of my mock drafts and then trading up early day 2. Like, ideal world, and I'll probably keep this stance till draft night. Somehow, some way, Venga Yowani falls to you at pick 21. Draft him. You got your starting left guard for the next decade. And then someone like Denzel Boston, a Casey Concepcion, it's looking less and less likely to happen. But Omar Cooper, someone like that falls out of the first round. You package up a third, a fourth, and like a seventh because the Steelers got like 3 sevenths, something like that. Trade up in day 2, pick a wide receiver, an excellent one because I think, there's 6 to 7 really, really outstanding wide receivers in this class that are going to be big time guys. The other guys, it's more, wait and see. Would love for the Steelers to do that. Falele said after Ravens. Indeed he did their concepts. Indeed he did. To Spain here. Welcome back. Got my Konnor Griffin limited jersey future locked in. Indeed it is. The future is locked in for the Pirates, and it's looking like these days again. Like back in 08 and 09, we went to the Igloo for playoff games. Yeah, playoffs here for the Penguins. I would love to talk about a all eyes first round playoff series. Pens Flyers, just a pure hate between these two teams is viewership worthy enough. But now the Flyers, they're one of the hottest teams in hockey's right now, jumping into the playoff race after nowhere. And the Penguins, nobody expected them to be in this position. Should set up for a hell of a first round matchup if it comes to fruition. The Penguins are hot, looking to lock up a playoff berth and first round home ice advantage tomorrow. The Pirates, Konnor Griffin is a bucko for the next 9 years. Very stoked about that. How can you not be if you're a Buccos fan? In the NFL draft, a time of the NFL offseason that hope springs eternal for pretty much every single fan base and franchise out there. That's coming up before we know it. So fun times ahead, busy times ahead, but fun nonetheless here on the Steel City Sports Report. That is going to do it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. Want to thank you all for joining me. Covered a lot here tonight regarding all 3 teams, Penguins, Pirates, and Steelers. We'll be back here on Friday. There is not going to be a scheduled live stream tomorrow unless, just massive story after massive story pops off. So the next time we will be live will be Friday to wrap up the week, and we'll have a Pens game to talk about. We'll have a Pirates game to get ready for. Maybe some more pre-draft visits for the Steelers to talk about as well. I'm sure we'll have enough for a show come Friday. On your way out, subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so that you never miss a thing here on the Steel City Sports Report. Again, like this live stream, share this live stream, leave a comment in the comment section, your thoughts, questions, and opinions after the show. Go give the channel a follow at Steel City SR on Facebook, Instagram, and X. And tune back in a little bit later on tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. That'll do it for this Wednesday night on the Steel City Sports Report. Let's go Bucs. Let's go Pens. Here we go Steelers. Fun times ahead on the Steel City Sports Report. Back on Friday to wrap up the week. Peace.